three big critiques that I need to go through with you. Those are basically cost, inflation, and laziness. Let's go through them in that order. Cost. You're proposing $1,000 for every single person in this room, every single month, every single 280 million Americans every single month. $12,000 for 280 million people.
Well, it's only adults, so it shrinks it a bit.
It's only adults. Well, yeah, but the population is like 320 million, so I was trying to do a fast mental math on that. 250 million people, let's say. How much is this going to cost, and can we afford it?
Yes. So the headline cost is about $2.4 trillion per year. For context,
say that one more time.
$2.4 trillion a year would be the headline cost.
And the U.S. government currently spends just under $4 trillion a year.
The federal budget is $4 trillion. The economy is up to $19 trillion, up $4 trillion in the last 10 years. So $2.4 trillion seems like a lot, but if you break it down, it actually becomes affordable very quickly. Now, the big change we need to make is we need to be in position to harness the gains from artificial intelligence and new technologies. The big winners from those technologies are going to be Amazon, Google, Apple, Uber, like the mega tech companies with trillion-dollar valuations. And the trap we're in right now is that they do not pay a lot of tax. Amazon's trick is we didn't make any money this quarter, no taxes. Alphabet's trick is it all went through Ireland, nothing to see here. And so as these companies soak up more and more value, the public's going to be seeing less and less, even as the opportunities disappear. So what we need to do is we need to join every other industrialized country in the world and have a value-added tax, which would give the public a slice of every Google search and every Amazon transaction.
Which is the equivalent, from the consumer standpoint, of a consumption tax. That's how a lot of people will experience it, right?
Yeah, but it applies to businesses at every level of production. So it's like oxygen, and every other advanced country has already done this. Because our economy is so vast, a value-added tax at even half the European level would generate almost $1 trillion in revenue for the U.S. That, plus the $800 billion we currently spend on welfare spending, plus the fact that by putting $1,000 into the hands of American adults, you would grow the economy by 12%, and we'd get back $500 billion in new tax revenue, plus the hundreds of billions we would save in healthcare, incarceration, homelessness services, and the massive value gains from having a population with higher education rates, better health, better nutrition, better mental health, better productivity. All of those things together would make the freedom dividend pay for itself and then some, conservatively. We have to start investing in our people. Good companies invest in their people, but then in the public space we say, oh, we have to try and treat everyone like costs and avoid spending money. And that's the opposite of what we need. We need to reverse the mindset of scarcity with a mindset of abundance. And the best way to do that is to secure Americans' futures.
Okay, so when some economists hear mindset of abundance, they think that's a lot more money flowing around the same economic system. We're giving a bunch of people who are only making, say, $20,000 a year, an extra $12,000 a year. Why isn't inflation going to go completely crazy on a bunch of consumer staples, especially those that are overconsumed by the poorest Americans?
Well, if you look at the causes of inflation right now in the U.S., they tend to fall into three buckets: housing, education, and healthcare. If you look at consumer goods, they're actually not surging in price. A lot of them are even getting cheaper. So that's clothing, electronics, media, the things that people consume. And so putting money into people's hands, there's no reason to think that it would cause a surge in the prices of these consumer goods where the market is quite efficient, because there's still going to be a lot of price sensitivity. It's not like these people all of a sudden are like, oh, I can pay $10 for a burger. It's like price sensitivity will still be there, and then there'll still be competition between firms in every particular industry and vertical. So really the cause of inflation right now in the U.S. are around these protected dysfunctional markets of healthcare, education, and housing.
All right, last question before we turn to questions. Very quickly, why won't this make us all lazy? Why won't free money just turn us into a nation of layabouts?
Yes. So $1,000 a month is still below the poverty line in this country. The poverty line is $12,770. There is no reason to think that everyone's going to be like, oh, I've got $1,000 a month, I can live large and stay at home. Even if you're a server making $24,000 a year, are you really going to take a 50% pay cut and stay home? But if you keep working, you're up to $36,000. Maybe you can actually put a little bit of money away, start getting ahead, take your kid out for a movie. The data, and I'm a very data-driven guy, the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes numbers. And the data says that only two groups work fewer hours with more money: new mothers who spend more time with their kids, which I think we can all get behind, and teenagers who graduate from high school at higher levels.